everybody. It's been so long since I've said that. It feels good.
I know.
Hey, everyone. This is Melanie Headley. I am here with ToRAISE Questions Doula. She is the executive director of ToLabor, which is an international doula training and certifying program.
Hi.
Hi. And you are listening to ToRAISE Questions Doula podcast. We're back.
We are. And Melanie, both of us will say the exact same thing. It's been a really long time, and we apologize for such a lack of communication, I guess is the best way to say it. We missed it. We know that people have missed it, but sometimes life happens and we weren't able to get into the studio, besides the fact that somebody in our life is very, very busy all the time.
Only one?
Yeah. Just trying to pass the blame somewhere else. But yes, it's great to be back. And it's May, and it's a whole new experience being, I think, for other parts of the country as well, starting to finally feel like spring has arrived. Though I was in Chicago not so long ago, and I thought it was winter.
Freezing.
Oh, it was so cold and rainy.
Chicago.
I know. It was lovely, but it was not, and it looked like spring there. It just didn't feel like spring.
Well, because you've been traveling a lot too. So you went to Chicago, and where else did you?
San Diego and Reston, Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah, all three, and Boston and Columbus, and
around. Good workshops.
Yep, and the Bay Area. Yeah, this was great. All good, all wonderful. Yes.
Good.
So we're glad to be back.
It's really nice to be sitting here with you.
Yes, you too.
So, ToRAISE, you recently shared some information openly on Facebook about your health situation right now. Would you like to talk about that for a minute?
Just for a minute. Just to let people know that, and a lot of you listening probably already know this. Some of you who are listening don't know this, but long story short, that about 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with a really rare form of cancer and went through surgery and treatment and amazing life changes as well, and had a really great experience with being cancer-free. Unfortunately, it has recurred, which is the MO of this cancer. It likes to come back, unfortunately. And I've had surgery, though, a successful surgery, to remove what they found. But I am looking forward, meaning I am looking into the future.
Right.
Starting actually this week, which is the week of May. What are we, May 9th?
9th.
Yeah. Starting treatments that are involve chemo, and they've recommended radiation as well. And then there's a treatment that the doctors have agreed would be really great for me to have that complements and helps potentize the treatments, the chemotherapy, but unfortunately it's not offered here in the country, which is not uncommon, that we have treatments out there that could be really beneficial and we don't have access to, which is a whole nother topic. So if all goes well, I'm supposed to go to British Columbia, the Vancouver area, once a month to be treated up there, which will be something to figure out. But the bottom line, and you're sitting across from me, I feel healthy. I think I look healthy.
You look great.
But it's just a hard thing to know that this thing has occurred again and that I have to go through these treatments. But that's what I've chosen to do, plus the other things that I do in my life. So temporarily, I won't be doing a lot of teaching. And we're in the process of making decisions about ToLabor, which is extremely healthy, and moving forward, what we will be doing, we'll keep everyone posted about through our Facebook page, our website, communications, and through the podcast. So I guess, just I could say to everyone, I don't think there's anybody out there who hasn't had a person in their life, whether it be immediate family member or good friend or coworker or, neighbor who hasn't been affected by cancer. So I know everybody knows what it's like. And we all just want to be taken care of and know that we're safe and protected and loved. And so I'm one of those people. So thanks for letting me just talk about it for the moment. But it's just, it's hard because I've had it for a while and I like my anonymity, and it just changes things for me. But here it is. So
I know, and you're here now at this place where you have finally made some decisions. I know that
right.
took you a long time, and that was really hard.
Yeah.
So besides sending ToRAISE just huge circles of love and light, you can also actually support her monetarily and her family and help with those trips going back and forth, and just with the unknown of what's happening with ToLabor in the coming months. Then you can just help a little bit out with that, and you can go onto the Facebook page ToLabor, and you can click onto the Give Forward campaign, or you can go straight to giveforward.com and you can search either ToRAISE Hakoon, or you can search the 1 in a Million campaign and find it there. Anything would just be so appreciated. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
So we also have a shout out to Jessica in Virginia Beach, pretty close to us right now, for your generous donation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jessica Fox.
Thank you, Jessica Fox.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
So stay tuned and we will figure out what we are going to talk about today. Thanks, everyone. It's good to be back. We're back.
Yes.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Well, I think we kind of came up with the idea of talking about the spirit of being a doula and maintaining your integrity as a doula, as a professional doula. And I want you to discuss this with me. It's one of these things that I'm finding for myself and for a lot of doulas when I'm teaching all over the country, and emails that we get and feedback that we get from people who aren't trained by us as well about some of the issues that are happening in the doula world right now, as far as where is the spirit. One doula asked, she said, what happened to the sisterhood? And is there a sisterhood? And it's a really good question because, for me, and everybody hears me say this all the time, but I've been around for a really long time and I've been part of this work for a really long time. And I was at a part of it where it was just so far and few between, and nobody knew the word doula. And if they did, if people were doing this work, often they weren't calling themselves doulas, all of those things. And so I'm so glad that it has grown. That was the whole intention of having this organization.
Well, and you have definitely been such a part in growing this work.
I absolutely, in the sense that I help facilitate these workshops, and I feel really passionate about that. And so the goal always was to create an environment where doulas could be available to everybody who wants a doula. I say this all the time, and I don't think you or most people, I thought, disagreed with this, that everybody deserves a doula. It's so unbelievable to me. I don't think anybody should walk into any hospital setting, any medical setting, without a advocate by their side. I don't care how supportive of a family they have. In childbirth specifically, since that's the topic, they need somebody there who really understands the process because of how everything is working. And I don't care what their decision is, deciding to have, somebody asked me recently, well, what about the person who wants a cesarean or has a planned cesarean? Do they still need a doula? Absolutely.
I just had one of those a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
And so just to pause there for a minute, Melanie, what was your role with this person?
My role was to prepare her beforehand. So prenatally. So this was a twin mom, and both babies were breached throughout the entire pregnancy, and she was actually going for a VBAC. She'd had a previous C-section for a breech baby, and showed up in labor in the hospital with her first breech. And so we did everything to try to turn at least baby A, and baby A did not turn, baby B did not turn. And so we decided that we were going to continue to work together, and did the prenatal visits, and really talked about what the C-section was going to look like. And she'd switched hospitals, so we could change it up this time. It wasn't going in there and, oh my gosh, we need a C-section. It was, we're going to plan for this. We can pick a day, we can pick a time, we can have a playlist, and we can choose who the attending is going to be to do it. And so the idea there was, we all got there early and hung out and laughed and kind of set the room up for her to come back into with the babies. And then I waited with the husband while she was prepped, and I know he was excited, but I know he was also really nervous. So it was also nice to be able to sit and be in the room and kind of normalize what was going on, and keep him calm while he was waiting to go back for his wife. And then we got to go back together, and I took pictures and held her hand while they were doing it. And it wasn't the easiest C-section. Those babies were wedged in head to head, and it was really an interesting position. So she was a champ, and he was too, but it was nice that they had someone else there. And then I was able to take pictures of the babies while they were being assessed, and bring the camera back and show her pictures of the babies before she could actually get them. And then I stayed after and got babies latched on. And so, yeah, I think there's definitely a role there.
Oh, absolutely. And so our job does not change regardless of who and what the circumstances are. That person still so benefited from your knowledge, from your love, your support, and your focused attention, because everybody else is focusing in on her and the baby as far as their health and well-being. And yes, you were there for the partner. So that was the intention of, I believed, all organizations that wanted this for people who were birthing, and certainly was of Alice when I began with them, and with the evolution of To Labor. And I still believe that is the core of this work. Is you have to be when we say the spirit of a doula, I mean, this is a job, and we've talked about this, and we'll talk more about it in the future podcasts. This is a job. It is a business. It is a job. But you have to be called to this work. You have to want to be with those people. Your motivation should not be, well, I need a job, so how about I become a birth doula? Because I hear that birth doulas can make anywhere from $500 to $2,500 a birth. And man, they don't have to do a lot of work. They just do some prenatal, and then they are on call, and they go to a birth, and then they have a little postpartum, and oh man, I could do that. And then I'm going to get paid for this work like you get a paycheck from another job. And
that sounds so easy.
Yeah, doesn't it sound easy? Besides the fact that it isn't that way, I mean, it doesn't work that way, the motivation cannot be that. It cannot be, this is a job. You understand it is a job when you start doing it, but you have to really care about the people and the process of birth. You have to understand the humanity of this, that it is a human being being born to human beings. This is about our humanity. It's about health and well-being, not just of the physical, but of the mind, body, and spirit. I mean, it's everything, and that's what should draw you to this, is you want to support people, not save people. I mean, because somebody said, what are doulas? Are they, one doula shared with me, she said she was asked, oh, are you one of those doulas who want to save people? And she was really taken aback, because it was like, what do you mean saved? What does that mean, save people? And she was really befuddled by the question, because it was like, I'm not out to save people. I'm out to support people. I want people to feel that what my words would be, and I think she shared them as well, which is that compassionate care, that presence there of this incredibly sacred time, but also a profoundly intense, confusing, ecstatic, traumatic experience in people's lives. And anything less than that draws you to this work should not. I think what happens is people get weeded out. But what I am anxious about now, and what's causing me actual distress about this, is I think the integrity of the doula is changing, and I think it's becoming too much of the focus of, this is a business. This is a job. Hey, that sounds cool. Get to watch a baby be born. Oh, that sounds cool. And I can do this, and I can make this much money, and I'm going to charge this much, and I'm going to charge this much. Oh, and I'm going to pause for a minute, because I want you to talk, because I'm going to start. I can feel it's such a, as you can probably hear, I have more to say. But
she's getting feisty.
Well, I am. So go. I could see you wanting to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, I just had an interview last week, and I found myself saying to the couple that the dad was hesitant. He didn't really know what a doula was, and you give your whole spiel about how we don't, interject ourselves in between them, and in a way that takes over for him. And I said, at the end of a birth, if and I stay for 1 to 2 hours after, but I really try to give you your space, because it's really about you and getting to know your baby in that hour. And I'm there if you need guidance. I'm there if you have questions. But I really love seeing the couple come together and say, we did it. Yeah, we did this. And that's when I feel like I did a good job, when they don't say, I couldn't have done this without you. Or, and people of course say that, and I say, you could have. Right. It might not have been as much fun. But when they feel like they really did it, and together as a team. And I do, it's such a strange profession. Yes. In that it's not about us. No. And it's so hard to market yourself. It's so hard to, put your business out there, because you're not putting yourself out there. You're putting out how you supported other people in this huge feat that they accomplished, that you were a little part of. Yes.
But such an important part of it, because though they do give you some credit, I agree with you. We want them to feel like they did it themselves. But the truth is, they did do it themselves. But had you not been there, it would have been a different experience for them. Right. It absolutely would be a different experience for them. And I do not think this. I don't think it would be a better experience. It may have been a similar experience. It might be a much worse experience. It might have been a horrific experience for them. But I doubt it would ever be better had you not been there. If you have the spirit of what it takes to be that person who is so present but invisible at the same time, that your ego is not there, that your focus is not on, this is my job and I'm going to make this much money, and this is, and what time is it? Because the other thing that is really I'm struggling with, and I'm struggling. I shouldn't say I'm struggling with it. Let me reframe that. I am crystal clear on. What I'm struggling with is how this has come to pass. There is it seems this is coming up a lot, that there are doulas who are now writing into their contracts that they have a fee for their births, and they are then wanting, after a certain amount of time, they want, after they've been in labor with someone for 12 hours or so, then they want to be paid an hourly rate for the rest of the time. And this is something that has been discussed and when I became part of Alice, which was over 20 years ago, but I was doing birth work before that, this was a conversation that has always been out there. And the agreement with all who were in the grassroots of this kind of work was that doesn't serve anybody well. The most important thing is it puts pressure on that laboring family. It puts pressure on that laboring mother to be thinking about the clock, which is one of the big things that we talk about in workshops. Is this has nothing to do with time. Like the clock is incidental. How much time will this take? We have no idea. How much longer? We don't know. We don't want any focus on the clock. But then, so what if this person has this 12-hour limit, and the woman may be thinking early in her labor, where she really is earlier in, I'll put it better, she's in labor, and she really wants her doula with her, but she's worried about, well, if I call her now and have her come, if I call to get her here too soon, and we go past that 12 hours, we can't really afford to pay her X amount of dollars per hour for the rest, and it goes on endless. Like, I don't know how long it will take. So you may be stopping someone from care when they really need that care, and or just when they're in labor and you're with them, they're thinking, oh God, I hope I have we're coming up to that 12 hour. I hope I have the baby soon. I mean, that's just wrong to me. That's a layer of stress that person should never have to experience, ever have to experience. And you're the person who's bringing that stress into them. To me, that's just unconscionable. I can't say the word.
So do you have a recommendation or a suggestion for some sort of clause in your contract?
Let me finish. You set a fee. You set a fee for whatever it is in your community. Whatever it is, if it's $900, if it's $500, if it's $1,200, and you look at that fee based on what your community can support and what you feel you deserve. For what most people don't know, it's the on-call time, besides the unknown amount of time you will be out of labor. I mean, we can know how much prenatal is going to be, kind of, sort of, though we have people who want more than others. But you come up with that time for what you feel comfortable with. And then you know this. I ran into you, and you had a labor that in the end that you were physically present for, 45 minutes the other day,
yes.
right? Yes. And yes, you might have been on the phone with her off and on, but a lot of times we don't even get those phone calls. It's that quick.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got your fee, regardless of how long that lasted. Should they have said to you, well, Melanie, you weren't with us for even a minimum of 12 hours, so we're going to pay you less. I mean, you would never accept that. But you also have been, then shortly after that, you had a longer labor. Right. But in the end, it all comes out in the wash to me. And that's how I've always felt. That's what we've talked at workshops. That's what we talked as the grandmothers of this work. That's where we have the integrity to know what we need, and we don't put it on other people to make up for what we feel we deserve. Get what you deserve, but don't cause stress in somebody else's labor. I mean, there's enough stress going on. So, if a labor is long, I can see somebody saying in their contract, and I think this is becoming more common, and this is, again, individual. It's not something that I ever felt compelled to do, but I'm not, that's because I'm weird. But it's also because the truth of the matter is it never even occurred to me. Mm-hmm. But I get it. So here's what I can see that people may feel compelled to do. That they have the right, they reserve the right, if a labor is going on for X amount of time, and they should be definitive with that time, whether it be 12, I think it should be past that 12 hours, because I don't think 12 hours is a lot of time. I really don't. For people in labor. I really don't. 12 hours? I mean, you don't do this job if you think 12 hours is too much time. But 12, whatever the time frame is, to call in a backup doula. Mm-hmm. And of course, I will discuss this with you prior to making that decision. And we will, you have the right to meet this person, know who it is, blah, blah, blah. I could see that, but not say, I'm going to charge you more money. And then it's between you and the doula to figure out how you work out that payment thing. It's not for your client to figure out how, because they hired you. And they hired you for a set fee, and you can take that into consideration. If I have to call somebody in, do we just have reciprocal care to each other? Like, I'll get your back the next time if this happens to you, or do I pay her an hourly wage for that, or do I give her a lump sum for this so she knows how much? You make those choices, but don't put it on your client that they have this and this worry in their head. And it's like I said, I'm really clear, obviously, in my discussing of this, how I feel about it. And people will disagree, and I totally understand that. But that will not keep me silent any longer. I just feel like we have lost the spirit of this work in many ways with many people. And it has been told to me by doulas from all over the country in different circumstances, in different words, but this is the general, that there's a feeling out there that not everybody does deserve a doula, that only people who can afford to pay that it's a luxury, that they should be the ones who, if you can't pay for it, then you shouldn't be expecting to have a doula. And that Melanie, I just want to cry, because I think if that's what people who are doing this work really feel, I just can't, it breaks my heart, because I think what happened to compassionate support for people. And yes, I don't think you should do this work for free all the time, but I darn well think that if you can occasionally...
There are absolutely special circumstances out there that people need some support. And
you bet they do.
And it comes back.
Well, and
how many births have you attended and then have gotten fed, so well, and had things dropped off on your porch?
Or just cared for.
Exactly.
Just the appreciation for your presence there. And also think of all the people who really so often need the most are those who are financially disadvantaged, because they're financially disadvantaged, mm-hmm. which means they're financially disadvantaged in so many aspects of their life. And again, I don't think people should only do free births, though I do know people who can afford to do free births, mm-hmm. and have made a decision to do free births. And I am so grateful to them that they can afford to do that. And they are not undermining other doulas. And they're doing it because they feel this is the work that they were called to do. And how dare anybody question that of somebody, or do a smaller fee or a sliding scale if they feel that that's appropriate. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, I would assume there are a few people out there who think, okay, I'm going to charge, everybody's charging $800. I'm going to charge $500 because then I'll get more business because I'll just get more business. So they're thinking of it, again, about the money aspect of it. I don't think that's the majority of people, though. I think when somebody charges less or does free or does sliding scale or does full on, they're basing it on what they feel they can afford to do, what they deserve, and what they can help other people have.
I will say, I think there is definitely some weight to having people pay something for your service. If you do feel like there is something there that they can contribute. And, I found that offering my class, let's say to some of the Medicaid moms that I work with in the hospital, and giving them, a $20, $40 fee, as opposed to a $265 fee, then they're going to take it seriously. And so they're going to show up and they're going to come and they're going to do the work, rather than just handing it out. Or then there have been people where I've said, please just come. Just come. Let me do this for you. It's fine. The very first free birth I did was for a woman from Sierra Leone who was HIV positive, and it's also the longest birth I've ever attended. And
do you regret it?
Not at all.
See?
It was such a beautiful experience.
And imagine what it was for her.
And I couldn't even imagine taking a penny from her. And while we were there, it was also with a wonderful social worker who stayed the whole night as well. Her partner, the laboring mother's partner, went home and cooked us a huge African feast and brought it back to the hospital. And, such love.
Well, that's it. And I will agree with you that I think those who can pay should pay. And I think that should go.
Well, and there can be a fine line there, too.
I think that those who can pay should pay. Those who can afford to pay the money and even if they work out a payment plan with you, whatever the case is, and that feels comfortable to you, they should pay. And I do think that there is value in saying to somebody, I understand if you can't pay, they approach you with, this is really hard for me to make this amount of, payment to you. Could we work something out? I think there's value in saying, well, what do you think you can afford? Helping them be their own spokesperson, because that's part of that empowerment that in the end we're also a part of overall. And if it feels like, okay, I can do that, going forward for that, I do struggle with, and I can't decide if it's just me struggling or if it's something that I haven't come to my clarity on this. I still have an issue with people taking things more seriously just because they paid for it. Like, what you just said, that because they paid, they'll show up. Maybe it's just me not wanting to believe that. That's what I struggle with. But I do think there's truth to it. I mean, I can imagine that. I can see that where people will be like, well, I didn't have to pay for it, and I don't really have to go, or I don't really have to call her, or whatever the case might be. So I understand, and people bring that up as why they feel like you shouldn't just do it for free. But here's how I reckon that better is people don't want charity either. Even the people who need assistance or charity, they don't want to feel they're getting charity. So sometimes it is good for their sakes to ask for some payment, just because you don't, you want them to value themselves, not feel like you're just giving, oh, I feel sorry for you, that pity kind of thing. So it's a one person at a time judgment. I don't think, like you said, the woman from Sierra Leone, you didn't charge her anything, and was it all was beautiful. You charge $40 or $60 or $100 to somebody, $300, whatever you reduce it down to, your fee, and they will feel empowered by that. They will probably be more committed to it because there's a value. They've put out this money. I don't want to do it for nothing. And you can feel good that you're getting paid.
But I like that point, that they value themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody was talking to me about that recently, about an organization that's not birth related. And I thought, that's what makes more sense to me too. But I argue with myself about this other part, that they will value you more and your services if they pay for it. I hate that. Okay. But I think there's truth to it. I think there are people, I guess that's what it is. I guess there are definitely people who would take advantage of not, if it was free, not following through. But I don't think that's the majority of people. And I think it's how we communicate with people that makes a difference. So, this is, when this person brought up to me about what does saving people mean? It's a very macho term. Right. And it was a very offensive term to her, too, because it was like, I'm not out trying to save people. I think I'm out there helping people have what they deserve and what they want and what they need. Not that if that means I saved them, okay, I saved them, but that's not my intention is as a savior. I'm there to be present. And so we talked about the sisterhood. And that's a word that I don't use a lot, but doulas really need to accept each other as to what they're doing and how they're doing it, and accept that they themselves how do you want to be treated? How do you want to be treated? And if you were in labor, would you feel comfortable having pressure on you other than the pressure you're under to give birth? Do you really feel that it's right to be putting somebody under stress with, I guess I'm focusing in on that 12-hour payment. Is there another example that you could use based on the spirit of a doula, maintaining the integrity, that you've run across or you've heard of? Competition. I think that's really the big thing. And it's always been the conversation in our workshops for 20 years of talking about this. Money-driven competition. Yeah, well, and competition it's not, sometimes, definitely it's money. But it's the competition. It's like, well, she got that birth. How many births does she get? She's getting all the births. Why is she getting all the births? Why don't they like me? Why didn't I? I'm not getting I'm not getting any births. They're all it's human nature. Well, to be insecure, I guess, is human nature. That's it. It's human. Well, that's what I mean. It's human nature. But then we got to come back to, thank goodness those people have a doula. Yes, and I do think that competition is healthy. Well, it can be healthy if you come in with the right spirit of it, that these are people who are trying to do the same work as you are, and support those people for the work that they're doing. And then why is it that I'm not getting that work? Then you have to look at yourself. Is it something I'm doing? Could I do it differently? Am I giving off a vibe like I'm desperate for work? I'm desperate. Like me. Am I too aggressive? Am I talking too much? Am I not talking enough? Am I not addressing? Am I not dressing right? All the things you want to look at about your... Well, then you're really looking at it from a business perspective. Right. And looking at your business as a different entity. Right. Other than you. Then maybe that can take that insecurity. How can I make this business actually efficient and work? Right. Right. And draw people in. And not feel like, and so the sisterhood aspect of this is not taking it out on the people who are doing that already.
Right.
Or are doing it right now. Because your time, it sounds hokey, but I've always said this and I believe this and I learned it from also, I know the person I've worked with all these years feels this way as well. Those who are meant to come to me will, and those who aren't, don't. Mm-hmm. And I have to believe that, but it's what I put out there that will dictate that also.
Exactly. So it's not about anybody else.
Do I want all those people that they're getting? I don't want all those people, because some of those people are people I wouldn't even want to work with.
Right.
So we have to put that in perspective and also support each other, because doula work is really hard.
It's so hard.
And people need a place, doulas need a place to be able to go, God, this is so hard.
Yeah.
Or, God, it was so exciting. Or, I got 5 births this month. Can you believe it? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so, it overwhelms me. But how exciting for them that they got 5 births that month. And instead of immediately going, well, what about me? I only have 1 or 2 or none. I know that we feel that way. But to come back to, way to go.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like too much. Like, get a grip, ToRAISE.
But that's all. It's all about intention.
Yes.
And it's all about integrity, just like you're saying. And it really does come back around.
It does come. And I think that's real. The reality is it comes back around.
It
will come back around.
I just thought about a time I was sitting at a coffee shop with an interview, doing an interview, and another doula came in. Who, if you looked at our businesses, you would say, oh, she's the competition. Mm-hmm. And she walked over and she gave me a hug and she said, hire her. She's amazing. You'll have a beautiful birth.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of support that a community really should have in birth work. And especially, when we're telling, as a childbirth educator, when I'm telling people, interview, 3 to 4 doulas.
Right.
And if you hear from one doula saying anything negative about another one that they're going to be interviewing, that's not okay.
No, that's a red flag.
That's a red flag. But building them up, saying, mm-hmm. Oh, you're going to love her. Yep, that's going to be, you would be in good hands with any of these women that you choose.
Right.
So I think, and it really puts a positive perspective out into the world, in business too.
Yep.
What you're doing.
Yeah. And I mean, and it goes on and on, Melanie, and I think we're going to have a conversation about this more in another podcast. But I think that I just wanted us to kind of get to it's always in my mind. And I think it's because I've been around and I feel like I'm so excited about the revolution of that has been occurring and now is really coming to a really pinnacle point where doulas are really profoundly changing the lives of people. And I'm excited about that, but I'm not excited about the bad vibes that I get, just the negativity that I also, which we'll discuss at another time, that I hear and I just think, what happened? Like, what happened? Is this? I want to be a reminder of what it is that we came to do this work for.
And we want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all have experiences with this in your towns, in your cities? What does it look like? What does competition mean for you?
Yeah, and please, here's what I really would love. We would really love to get some emails from you. So send, if you've got thoughts about this, send your comments, your thoughts, your email, your paragraph or two to ToRAISEQuestions@gmail.com. Because we are going to do more talking about the whole doula business, how this is reflective of who we are as a profession, and because each doula out there is representing each doula out there, and it's a really important thing. But anyway, thanks for letting me talk.
Thank you. And thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned for our tip. So since we've been talking about how birth work can be a pain in the ass,
our tip for the day is kind of related. This came from somebody just in passing reading about, many women suffer from hemorrhoids during their pregnancy.
Yes.
And some have just give birth to hemorrhoids during their birth itself. And so one of the suggestions is to get ahead of it. And they usually occur and get worse during the second stage, during pushing. So if you could get some ice even and put it in a glove, or ask the nurse if they have one of the ice packs that often are available for the perineum later, to put ice pack on the hemorrhoids during second stage. It's going to help hopefully reduce some of that swelling and make it less of a pain in their ass at that point later on, because man, it is terrible to have hemorrhoids
so bad
after giving birth to a baby. I mean, it's one thing. And they, just so people know, if your client does have hemorrhoids after their birth, there are so many things to do for hemorrhoids, and witch hazel people know about. Over-the-counter hemorrhoid cream really does work. I think the one that we found works best often is Anusol. There are herbal remedies that you can look up as well. Being off your feet, a laxative, a stool softener, obviously, lots of fluids. But what most people don't know is that about day 3 to 5, I believe, maybe even a little longer, they tend to get worse, because as the uterus is shrinking and going down, it applies pressure, more pressure. So if they can get through, they can just maintain and not think it is definitely getting worse, that it usually has a worse before it gets better, which I learned on my own. Unfortunately, didn't have hemorrhoids, but for some reason had hemorrhoid birth.
Ouch.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's a terrible experience.
Awful.
Yes. So anyway, ice pack on hemorrhoids during second stage. And any other time you feel compelled to do it as well.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.